What's up, VC? This is doompaul. Episode 3. Got 3 more records for you today, and 2 I'm sure you've heard. 1 maybe you actually haven't. The first one's probably going to piss you off because, well, I know most people that are serious about collecting have a problem with this band, and I get that. Jethro Tull's Benefit. Now I picked this up for $4.99. Happy to do it. Jethro Tull was one of those bands that I first started listening to when I was a kid. I think bought Aqualung, then went on to Thick as a Brick, and then went backwards, which was, as it turned out, a good thing, because the farther on they went, they made some really weird records. But Benefit, man, this thing is a sharp record, and it's really dark, especially for Jethro Tull, which have generally been known to be pretty tongue-in-cheek. It's the Ian Anderson show in full force, starting with this record, I would say. It's less of a band and more of a one-man show with a backing band behind him. Now, that pisses some people off. I think it's a great thing, because I think he's a genius. I think his songwriting skills are amazing. He can play the hell out of a flute. If you can handle a flute, he can play the hell out of it. And some of the songs here, just, Nothing to Say, Inside, Teacher, amazing stuff. Just amazing stuff. And this record's really dark for them. If you compare them to everything else they do, it's certainly the beginning of their phase of the less blues, and more just sort of experimenting with stuff. It's also the last record that featured bassist Glenn Cornick, who's a pretty amazing guy. Anyway, I like this record. I like it a lot, and I've listened to it so many times. When I went to put it on today, I was like, okay, I've heard it before, but if you're willing to give Tull a chance, that might be a good place to start. A lot of the bombast isn't there, and a lot of the tongue-in-cheek sort of Zappa-esque almost humor isn't there either. And it's just a collection of really well-written songs and played furiously. Second record I picked up once again with the Metal Theologian. And he had to talk me into this one because it wasn't in the best condition. Had a little flap problem on the end. Whatever. Blood Rock, the first one. I have been listening to this non-stop. 1970, I don't know what to say about this. The organs are on point. The guitars are on point. The vocals are on point. This is a really, really good record, and I can't believe it wasn't bigger than it was. It might actually have been bigger, but I did get it for $3. No, that was pretty much a score. I can kind of overlook this little flappy thing in the back. But man, if I can't put this record down, it's sort of been my... I take a bath every night and I listen to a record, and when I can't figure out what to listen to, I put this on because it's just so good. And it's simple in its songwriting, but it's really technical in its execution. Everybody's playing their heart out, and it really shows, and it's really amazing. Once again, if you don't know this one, and you should, please, just give it a listen. It's amazing. The final record I'm going to go over with you tonight, I almost don't know where to start with this one. It's either called Uriel, or Arzicle. I can't actually figure it. On this one, it says it's this record's called Arzicle and is by Arzicle, who consists of. And I do a little research, and they're saying that the band's name is actually Uriel. I took a look at the pressing, so I'm not sure if this one's a bootleg or not. I believe it's from 2010, but there's the label. I don't know. I think it's who did it? by Klimt Records in France. Um, this is a this is a this is a confounding record. It's done by the members of Egg. Right after they got a contract with Decca as Egg. So they had some material that they wanted to put out, and they did it all in one session. And this is what they came out with. And it starts off with this really weird Prague Baroque sort of piece, where Steve Hillage was even singing sort of that way. And when I first heard it, I wasn't 100% sure. I was like, I don't know. And then I listened to the second track, and it was just this ripper. And then the third track was this just straight blues thing that they played the hell out of. And then you flip it over to the second side, and it's just this psychedelic nonsense. And word on the street, and you can take this for what you will, is that, you know, they didn't have enough material for a full record, but they had the time in the studio paid by the record company, so they just played nonsense, space rock, until they realized they had enough time on the album. And then they just promptly stopped, and you can kind of tell. I won't say the second side is unlistenable, because it's not. It's interesting. But the first side is just kind of amazing. Give it a shot. They're all over the place. And I don't know what to call this. Psych, prog, blues. I don't know. I don't care. It's definitely worth a listen, though. This cover, it's missing the band's name, which is on all the other ones I've seen. So I don't know if this is a bootleg. I don't really care. I know it was put out in 2010, reissue, but anyway, that's pretty much what I got to you tonight. Trying to figure out whether or not I want to go to see Super Diamond tonight. Super Diamond's a Neil Diamond cover band, only super. Now, I don't know. I'm a big fan of Neil Diamond. I think he's fantastic. And anybody that doesn't think that, then, well, what are you going to do? But, and they're called Super Diamond. Anyway, I think I'm rambling at this point. So, good to see you, VC. Thanks for the shout-out, Metal Theologian. If you don't know who he is, you should. And thanks a lot. See you next week. Bye.